Avenue, son of a bitch. You've done it again. Winked and smiled about being a good, caring Democrat. But when the chips are really down, it's down with the people. There's still no Medi-Cal for all, and more drilling for all, and more plunder of the state coffers. Where did the money go? Oh, where did the surplus go? It happened so quick, yeah. Just a few natural disasters, and there's no more money for schools. Oh, you think that we're fools for wanting you to help with basic needs. Oh, fools indeed. Fools indeed. And then Oregon helps show the way, and that there's no place for the homeless to stay. Now California wants to join in. Let's make the homeless homeless again. Tear down those tents, back up your stuff. He's had enough. Now this is campaign slogan tough. Let's make the homeless homeless again. But where will they go? Who really cares? Who really knows? Oh, but this is compassion in action. This is the Democrats caring about you more than you know. Hey, for blue no matter who. And maybe next year when you're
All right. Greetings. Welcome back. We'll start this over again. How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Yes, we're going to talk about Spain. The reaction to Spain, the flooding in Spain, causing some serious revolt. Can you guys hear me now? You should. It is not raining in LA, Joseph. You guys good now with the sound? Please let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you could. I think you should be okay. If not, let me know. I don't want to continue if you guys cannot hear me, so please let me know. I know there's a little bit of a delay in the video, so I'm just waiting. Yes, okay, good. Anyways, the response to Hurricane Helene was not adequate, and many people were upset about that, but not to the point of bum rushing the police. And maybe they didn't really have the wherewithal to do that, or maybe they're just so beaten up and smacked around, and or maybe they thought FEMA's here, government's here, they're here to help us, everything's going to be okay. I don't know. A lot of people felt like it was an inadequate response, but anyways, this is just quickly, here are some of the, we're going to look at some of the flooding in Spain. And I'm going to try and, this is in 20 minutes, this one. Spain. You can see the water coming down the street here. And now it's
bueno, eso es lo que se ve desde el balcón de mi casa.
Flooded, so that we've all seen a lot of the videos around this.
Bueno, esto es desde el balcón de casa.
And many of the videos.
Está todo el pueblo inundado, todo. Hasta la calle de Salomé está todo. En la fuerza con la que viene el agua da miedo.
All right. Anyways, just a one. Where is it? Just one video, but here are the people fighting back or expressing their displeasure. And going after the cops. Some people would say this is not cool, scary. Other people would say, hey, this is how this is how those in power need to be treated. I know cops are just doing their job, but hey, at some point, if you're a footman or a foot soldier or a lackey or an employee of an evil regime or state, well then you got to decide, am I going to continue in this? Famous example are the people that helped Nazi Germany, right? Like the soldiers and the people that were part of Nazi Germany, and like, yeah, I know it's hard. You can't really push back against the state and say, no, I'm not going to serve or whatever. It's hard when you're just just a regular foot soldier. But, sometimes you got to make a stand. Anyways, let's look at what is going on there. Sorry, excuse me. Tens of thousands marched to demand Valencia leader resign over handling of deadly floods. Protesters and police clashed in the streets of Valencia in eastern Spain on Saturday as tens of thousands of people marched to demand the regional president resign over his response to floods that killed more than 220 people. Near Valencia's City Hall Square, police used batons and shields to push back an angry crowd who at times threw chairs and other objects at the officers. Video footage showed Elsewhere in the city, several buildings were vandalized, according to the Valencia mayor, though there have been no reports of serious injuries. Local media, citing government information, reported an estimated 130,000 people took part in the protest. That's a ton of people. Demonstrations started around 6 p.m. local time when thousands of people, many of them carrying placards and chanting killers, took to the streets to demand the resignation of Valencia's regional president, Carlos Mazon, over what critics say was too slow a response to what was the worst natural disaster the region has seen in decades. The flood, which began in late October, saw a year's worth of rain dumped on the region in less than 8 hours, which came rushing down the rivers and tributaries towards the Mediterranean Sea, picking up cars and destroying bridges along the way. The regional government didn't warn on time for the flooding, didn't respond on time, a protester told Reuters. So we want them to quit and let the new government take over the responsibility to clean up the mess they left. Another protester said, "The only thing I want to say is that this abandonment and institutional negligence must be held accountable." Mazon has claimed he wasn't warned early enough about the severity of the rain by central authorities, while the Spanish government says it tried calling Mazon at least 4 times before being able to reach him. The regional president, who, according to some Spanish media reports, was at a restaurant hours into the flood, has denied missing any calls prior to the flood. Meanwhile, the Spanish government and local agencies continue to search for over 70 people who remain missing. More than 8,400 soldiers are taking part in the efforts, according to Spanish government, along with divers searching near Valencia's shore. Well, people are pissed. People are pissed. And you know, there are a lot of ways to look at this reaction and this problem and the floods themselves. It depends on your viewpoint. What's up, Rockfin people? We're live on Rockfin. We're live on Rockfin, YouTube, and on Rumble. Very quickly, before I get into it too much more, please, I know a lot of you are really super addicted to the YouTube, watching me on YouTube, but I really urge you to get used to watching me on other platforms, on Rockfin and on Rumble. YouTube is just a censorship machine. They really squash my channel, and they're really doing a disservice to my channel. I'm also trying to kind of strategically think about other channels I can stream to, and I don't know how many I can stream to at one time on the Rumble studio. I haven't really discovered that, but I'm asking you to please go to another platform and watch me. Don't watch me on YouTube. Watch me on Rumble. Watch me on Rockfin for now, and I will try to add some more destinations for the stream. But seriously, like, YouTube is really not, is not doing you. They're not doing you right. They're not doing me right. They're not doing you right. So, and I don't know, it's just very difficult for me to get some traction on YouTube, and they're really super suppressing me, and I don't know that that's ever going to change, but we'll see. If you have suggestions about other platforms I should stream to, please let me know. But I just don't, I say that because I just don't know, the day or the hour that YouTube decides to just nuke my channel, or whatever. That's all. And they're already nuking my channel in slow motion because they're suppressing my views, suppressing the, how many people are watching, they're suppressing the chats, what people are able to talk about. Just, you can chat freely on other channels. You don't have to censor yourself. I'm just asking you to get in the habit of watching on something else other than YouTube. All right. Anyways. So, what I was going to say is that several ways to view this story. One is that climate change is going to end up doing this to people more and more and more. These things are going to happen more often. No offense to the HARP people or the space laser people or the whatever people. Like, no offense to you, but this is climate change, and this is just going to happen more and more often as time goes forward. And so people are going to be without the ability. Oh, the Unstoppable moved over to Rumble. Thank you, Oh, the Unstoppable. Appreciate it. I really do appreciate your support on other platforms other than YouTube. It really helps. It just really helps kind of break up what's going on YouTube. So this is going to happen more and more. People are going to, the governments aren't going to be able to respond. They're not going to be able to respond in time. They're not going to be able to respond adequately. People are going to be pissed. You're going to have confrontations. You're going to have uprisings and people wondering what's going on. In the future, we're going to see, more food shortages, more supply chain breakdowns due to climate change, and people are going to be left wondering what's going on, and they're going to be left being pissed at the government for not and their anger and their upset is totally understandable. Dang, sorry. Totally understandable. However, misplaced, the anger is, because the anger shouldn't be over a particular response to one extreme weather event. The anger should be over the overall non-acceptance of how quickly climate change is moving, and it's going to ruin people's life. And right now, the governments of the world, instead of doing the Paris Agreement type stuff, instead of doing the COP29 type stuff, and instead of doing the World Economic Forum type stuff, the governments of the world could be responding to climate change in a much more substantial, holistic way. And they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because it's just... All right, Shani's on Rumble too. Awesome. Thank you for heeding my suggestion. Thank you. I just really, I really am concerned about YouTube suppression. They're not going to be able to respond in a substantial, holistic way to climate change, because the only way to do that really is to untether people from the rampant consumer grid, and also to you know, let people know that, you know, on the whole, together, collectively, we're going to have to consume much less. We're going to have to, you know, somehow adapt and be resilient in the face of ongoing weather catastrophes. And they're going to have to also do all that stuff by leading by example, right? So and again, the people in power are not going to do that, not anytime soon. You know, nobody who is in a position of authority and or influence is going to give up their material comforts in order to show people the way, right? And say, hey, you know, let's do away with these cars. First of all, before we do away with the cars, let's do away with these militaries. You know, let's do away with wars. Let's do away with militaries. Let's do away with, you know, this constant projection of power, this constant, you know, saber rattling, this constant, you know, jousting for power. You know, let's do away with that first, right? So that we can, you know, totally focus our efforts on not succumbing to what's going to happen on the planet in the next few years. That would be the reasonable, logical way to, you know, and then we can talk about getting rid of cars and airplanes and all of these things in order to, you know, stop continuing to destroy the planet. That would be a reasonable, logical response. And also, you know, being helpful to helpful to the people, as in, you know, hey, we're going to help you guys out, you know, during these trying times. Like, we're going to make sure you have food, and, you know, as much as we can, make sure that you have a place to live as much as we can, make sure you have medical care as much as we can. All of these things could be said, but you know, the likelihood that they will be said is very small. So what we're going to get is more breakdown of the climate, more breakdown of the environment, more catastrophic weather events, and we're going to get people being confused, angry, upset. And, you know, we're going to have these things become political hot potatoes, you know. And I saw somebody posting about this, mentioning fascist regimes rising. This is a very interesting story on the heels of this story. And this is true. This is true. This happened. Out of the New York Times. Out of the New York Times. Trump's false claims about federal response to Hurricane Helene. This is a fact check from the New York Times. This headline against headline. The former president falsely accused the Biden administration of spending disaster funding on migrants, neglecting areas that had voted for Republicans. Actually, the spending on the migrants, true. That is true. That is actually provable. That was said out loud, you know, for the last several years, that they were spending, you know, money that was in the FEMA coffers. I'm not, you know, whether you want to say, you know, I'm not saying myself bad or good. I'm just saying true. That actually happened. So that's not false. That's not a fact check. The fact check was a, you know, promotion of a false narrative, reassertion of a false narrative. Anyways, he criticized the response, and so many people had problems with this response, right? A lot of people felt not just neglected, but downright, you know, harassed by FEMA in some of their responses to this. And here's an insane story that came out with proof. This actually happened, because they have the person on tape admitting to this. They have the person, a FEMA employee, on tape admitting to this, that they skipped over houses with Trump signs. The relief workers skipped over houses for Trump signs. So the person that, you know, my response to the person that was posting about the riots in Spain, talking about fascist governments. Well, I mean, you know, everybody assumes it's Trump that's the fascist leader, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever. That's a debate that's ongoing, and we can talk about that. But sidelining relief towards a certain group of people because you don't like their political views, or you see them as unworthy or whatever, that is certainly fascist. So who is the fascist? Which party is the fascist party? Right now, on the scorecard, the Democrats are absolutely winning in the fascist department. Absolutely winning. Let's start a war. Let's have some more wars. Let's send some more weapons overseas. Let's bomb brown people, to smithereens because we've deemed them the enemy. We painted them with the terrorist tag. That's absolutely fascism. Right now, the Democrats win the fascism scorecard. So don't, I don't want to hear, I just am totally tired of reading and seeing people, losing their minds over Trump the fascist when it's the Biden administration that is doing the fascist. When it's the Biden administration, it's the Democrats openly calling for people to be censored on social media, openly calling for, more controls, more guardrails in social media for speech, because we can't have people talking about things and discussing things and thinking, wrong think. Okay. Don't get me wrong. This is not support for Trump. This is not saying Trump is a good guy. He certainly has his, when things arise with Trump, we will discuss and we will criticize Trump. Absolutely, on this channel. But this is wild. They fired an employee for telling Milton relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs. Oh, no, this is in Florida. Sorry. I was thinking it was North Carolina, but did I say that? I don't know if I designated North Carolina or Florida, but this is in Florida. Wild, y'all. Absolutely wild. I want, I don't know how many, card-carrying Democrats watch this show, but I want you to contemplate the idea that Democrats seem to use the excuse of Trump being bad or being a fascist to do fascist things, to promote fascism in the face of fascism is not okay. It's not warranted. It's not okay. It's not constitutional. It's not democratic. It's not law-abiding. It's not morally correct. It's nothing. It's wrong. And it's fascist. And it's wrong. That's it. That's all it is. And, I really don't want, I just, I want to, I hopefully try to be helpful in the ways, that we can all go forward, and just the Democratic people that are like literally losing their minds on Twitter right now and just going absolutely ham. I'm like, you guys aren't, you're not, you guys are not, you have very little self-awareness. It's like collective narcissism. It's like a collective, like literally Democrats and, what you would call mainstream liberals, or what other people would call shit libs are suffering from, collective narcissistic personality disorder because they have zero self-awareness, do nothing but blame and smear either the other side or people that don't think like them, who are on, people on the left who don't think like them. They do nothing but blame, smear, deride. They have no self-reflection whatsoever. And it's kind of sad. It's actually very sad to see. And it's anger. To be honest, it's making me incredibly angry, but I don't know, I don't know what to do about, I don't know what, this narcissist is out of here. Okay. It's making me angry because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say about it, because there's zero self-reflection. So what can you say to somebody who has no self-reflection? who has no ability to go, well, the problem was I didn't have this energy, prior to Trump being elected for changing what the Democrats were doing or who the Democrats were. You were just like bumping along like, boop-a-doo. This is fine. Everything here is fine. And then when they fail and fall on their face completely and Trump gets elected, now you want to be mad. Too late. It's too late for that. It's you lost because here's an analogy, if I may. At least sports fans blame their coach or their players when they lose a game. If you're watching football or baseball or something and your players, your team loses, the first instinct of the fans isn't necessarily to blame the other team and talk about what, how shitty the other team is and how they cheated immediately. No, usually they have some self-reflection. Like they stop and they go, man, our coach just didn't do the best. They didn't do their best. Maybe we should get another coach. Maybe the players weren't prepared enough. Maybe they had the wrong, game plan. Right? Am I right? Or am I right? Right. So at least if you're rooting for team A against team B, like you have self-reflection when you lose. You don't have like people like just losing their ever-loving minds trying to blame the other team immediately, unless there's clear signs that the other team cheated. But those things are hard to prove out, right? Even trying to discuss facts becomes impossible. Exactly, Salipa. And that's where the narcissism comes in, because narcissists don't have self-reflection. You can't get them to go, okay, yeah, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I caused this. Maybe I shouldn't have ... right? Like it's bonkers. It's bonkers. So collectively, the left and Democrats or the mainstream liberals, so I'm not trying to beat up on anybody. I'm just trying to say, like, y'all need to raise your hands and say, this is my fault. My fault for supporting this. This is my fault for just being okay with making it about Trump and not making it about how can we do better? How can we actually beat Trump just by barely lifting a finger? Barely lifting a finger. Like all you had to do was act just slightly better than Trump and you could have beat him handily, but you couldn't even do that. So this is what I'm trying to hopefully help Democrats and liberals like understand, is like probably the best thing to do would be to stop talking and be quiet and stop blaming and stop freaking out and, oh my God, Trump. Stop talking about something else happening and go and start talking about what did we do wrong? What did our coach do wrong? What did our players do wrong? Why did I support this? Why did I support this thought process of like, well, we have to support whatever the Democrats are doing, no matter how terrible it is, because Trump is so bad. Like that is not, if you played games like that, if you played professional sports games like that, like literally saying, like playing to the badness of the other team. Well, this team is bad. This team sucks so badly that we don't have to do anything. Right? That's how you lose. We're going to go up against this team. This is a big game, but they suck. We've decided that they suck so bad that we don't have to practice. We don't have to get our players together. We don't have to get a good coach. We don't have to have a game plan. We don't have to have anything at all. We just need to run out there. We just have to have cult of celebrity. We did, right? Our team is the best because we're the best. And we're, cool. And we're the cool ones. And we're nice too. And, everybody likes us. That's our team. We don't have to do anything else to prepare against this team because they suck so badly. Do you understand that you're going to lose doing that? And then when you lose and then you cry, you should shut the fuck up. Like, just shut up. Sorry to be so harsh, but you should just shut up. about losing when you didn't do anything but go like, well, we're cool. We're the cool ones and we're good. And they're so bad. We're going to lose. What the hell is that? I mean, are you guys children? Are you seriously children? I feel like the world is run by children. I feel like the world is absolutely run by children and the children that support them. We're all, you know, as Jimmy Dore said, children of adult alcoholics, but we continue to not grow up, to not grow up. And like, wow, you guys, you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm trying not to be super angry, you know, at this response of liberals and Democrats. I'm trying to tone it down as much as I can, but my God, it's just sad. It's just sad to watch. And it's, you know, hopefully, you know, people don't lose their minds too much. Hopefully people come around to just like being measured and having a response of like, well, here's an adult reaction to this, or at least a honest reaction to this, which would be, you know, we haven't really done the best. We haven't really done the best preparation. We haven't been honest about what we're doing. We could have beaten Trump had we even just had, you know, half of a policy platform. If we even had, you know, promised people half the things that Trump promised them, we probably could have won, but we refused to do that. We are so corrupt. We are so absolutely corrupt and rotten to the core. That's what you are. And when you support that, when you are a voter that goes along with this, again, if you're a foot soldier for that, you have to carry some responsibility. I understand you're just doing your best and you're trying and you think you're supporting the right thing, and you could be misled. You could be, you know, whatever the excuse is, but at some point you have to be culpable in that. You have to take responsibility for supporting that bullshit, right? And I don't understand how you can even be, you know, proud of that or a part of that, or even, you know, lift a finger to be like so upset about Trump winning or you know, how things are going to go in the forward in the future, because you just really screwed up. You just messed up. You failed. So what are you going to do in the future to not fail so fucking hard? I really want to know. Like, pay attention, man. Next time, pay attention. Next time, pay attention. Like, next time, don't, like, right now, it's too late to be mad about Trump. Like, don't give me that, like, oh, I'm so worried and I'm so, nope, too late. Too late. Too late for the I'm so worried. You should have been worried a year ago, people. You should have been worried 2 years ago. You should have been worried 8 years ago when they screwed Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. You should have been worried then, but you just screwed up, and you spent all your time talking about Russiagate and Putin and how they were butt buddies and ha 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 ha. Like, you spent the whole time acting like juvenile delinquents. Yes, there are juveniles acting like fucking children with your TDS syndrome bullshit, with your like, Trump is just so bad and that's all I'm gonna ever say about everything. You know, you are children. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. Be honest with yourself. And next time, why don't you care before the election? But I don't care after. Just stop it. Just stop all this shit. Anyways, that's my rant. That's my freaking rant. Let's see. Scooby Doo. Octospook. Who's Octospook? Sounds like a spook. Sounds like a spook to me. Let's see. All right, 8 spook. There's 8 spooks. All right, yeah, Super Tuesday, right? Remember Super Tuesday? remember Bernie Sanders being basically cheated out of the he absolutely would have won the nomination. Yeah. I feel like I'm ranting like the same thing every day, but it's just wild to me. Like I'm overwhelmed I'm overwhelmed by what is going on. I mean, I want to be sensitive to people feeling like they, are concerned, because you should have concerned. Fred says, Kevin, I have a book for you and listeners, Nature and the Human Soul by Bill Plotkin. We Are Still Children. All right. Thanks, man. Denver says, this song can fix people's broken brains. Artie Shaw and the Gramercy Fives, Tenderly. I think I know that song. Yeah. There's a bit of Tenderly. Yep. I do like the song. Yes, man. All right. We're taking a little mellow out. This is mellowing me out. Thanks, man. Yeah. I love this one. All right, we're going to stop it there. I'll listen to that later. Yeah, it just was a terrible showing. And that's all it was. I'm trying not to be angry. But it's like, stuff like this, running these, fact check headlines, and stuff, and then about how there was a headline about people if you're sharing memes about Peanut the squirrel, you might be a white supremacist. I mean, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. They're really just ramping up the fear and the hate as much as they can, which is, I don't want to be in the camp of like ramping up fear and hate. Not even for Democrats, but I just am really angry. I'm really angry at Democrats right now. Very angry at the childish behaviors. Really childish. And we'll see how childish it gets over the next few. I'm sure it's going to even get crazier, right? Because Obama, he did call for an open primary. Did he? Did he call for an open primary? I didn't see that. I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to spend all my time beating up on Democrats, but it's going to get the I'm sure the zaniness is going to get even more pronounced over the next few months. And I'm going to have to say something. I'm going to have to push back on the zaniness. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, I guess he did. You're right. Barack Obama is calling for an open contest. Why has he not endorsed Kamala Harris? You're right. I didn't see that. I mean, that might have gained people, that might have gained some credibility for, but that Kamala wouldn't have won that. That Kamala wouldn't have won that because people would have been like, hey, where did RFK go? Or several of the other candidates. Where did Bernie Sanders go? Where did Cornel West go? Yeah, I mean they actually, and this is they actually they screwed up. They screwed up bad. They screwed up bad by forcing Biden on us when he was already in ill health anyways in 2020. And then when they thought that they could get away with just swapping out Kamala Harris, 4 months before the election campaign, which is absolutely bonkers. I was telling somebody this. Yes, Steves, we should be putting our energy into changing the system. You're right. Absolutely right. Absolutely, positively right. I mean, we need a new electoral system. How are we going to change? We're not going to change that by voting for Trump or Harris. We're not going to change that by like every 4 years just going like, oh, well, this guy's not so bad. That's not going to change it. You're going to have to really do something quite, strenuous and difficult to change it. But I was saying, over the last few days that I'm surprised Trump didn't win every single state. I really honestly thought that by the amount of Trump support I was seeing, even in Los Angeles, that I thought Trump was going to do a Reagan 84 and win like 49 states or like, some phenomenal number of states. I thought he was just going to he stomped anyways, but I thought he was going to stomp even more because that was so stupid. 5 months before the election, 6 months, suddenly admitting that Biden was a complete, train wreck and, just incapable of saying anything. 6 months before the election going like, oh, yeah, I think he might actually not really have all his faculties and we're going to just switch out to Harris. Like, the fact that you can't see that looks like the Democrats are an absolute train wreck, that they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's happening. They can't be honest with themselves. They can't honestly give somebody someone to vote for. They can't have an open primary. They can't. The original primary in 2024 was a get out of here if you're not Joe Biden primary. Like, they did that and then they switched them out. Like, those two things in succession should have made the Democrats not win any states. I don't care if it's Trump or anybody. I don't care if it's Trump or Rubio or whoever was on the Republican ticket. I can't remember who was on the Republican ticket or who else was running. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care who's running on the red side. If you're that dumb, if you're that incompetent, if you are that out to lunch and you think that you're going to win some votes, you're out to lunch. You're just out to lunch. You're not. Come on now. Come on. And so sorry. Trump so bad ain't going to do it, and I don't care, and I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's time for the Democrats to sit down and learn their lesson, and they won't. But otherwise, I have no time for anything that the Democrats have to say about anything about Trump. Like, just be quiet. Seriously. I don't care. I don't care. You deserve it. You made your bed. You sleep in it. You deserve it. Get out of here with the crying. Like, don't cry. The squad gave Biden an A+. Yes. Well, and here is, more evidence that it's just, they're trying to say it's not the economy. The reason why Trump won was not the economy. Why does no one understand the real reason Trump won? It wasn't the economy. It wasn't inflation or anything else. It was how people perceive those things, because they're trying to, again, tell you that they perceived it wrongly. This is actually an article that they're trying to tell you that the people that are actually not able to afford groceries at the grocery store are actually perceiving the economy wrong, that they're wrong. They're not actually hurting They're imagining things, and also they're imagining things because right-wing media is telling them that the economy is bad, even though every single day I see pictures of people and their groceries on Facebook or on wherever, just people I know with like a couple of groceries sitting on the counter, and they're like, this is $200, this is $100. I can't afford to eat anymore. I can't afford to go to the store anymore. Apparently people are just imagining that. And this is the kind of absolute gaslighting that the Democrats engage in, which makes me go, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Stop it. Just stop it. This is the managerial class. This is the managerial class, the technocratic managerial class, trying to gaslight you that you don't really know what you know and you don't think what you think. And if you think what you think, it's for the wrong reasons. And somebody got you into their bubble, didn't they? Didn't they? Somebody got you thinking the wrong things there, Jack. My God. It's just so like, it's narcissistic. It's a narcissistic personality disorder. This is like, you don't really know what you know. You don't believe what you believe. You're not experiencing what you're experiencing. Ugh. This is actually what they're telling people. The answer is right-wing media. The answer is right-wing media. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Denver says, what if elections are not about who votes, but the state engineering perceptions and the narrative and scope of debate going forward? Well, that's a big part of it. And again, right. And part of that narrative or part of the debate is like this sense of chaos. You can drive people to do. And I think that's why, everything right now is like a mass hypnosis engagement, engagement farming, I guess. Like social media is part of that, but it's not like right-wing media told you to do this or that. It's, the left is probably more engaged in that kind of stuff than the right. Like the left is really the ones that are like super gaslighting people and going like, let's see what they believe, let's see what we put out. Let's try and put stuff out there and see what people will run with. Right. Remember one story in particular I can remember is Russians are killing U.S. soldiers, for bounties in Afghanistan. Remember that? Before we were out of Afghanistan. And that was a fake story. But they actually put that out like it was a real story, and it was supposed to make Trump look bad, like Trump was letting our soldiers be killed by Russian mercenaries in Afghanistan because there was bounties on their heads, and like it was meant to, that's the left. That's the left. The libs did that. It was, or the CIA using the libs. Let's call it, it's, what it is. It's the narrative managers, the CIAs and the NSAs and the deep staters using the left to put out that narrative because that's what they want people to be like, oh my God. And the whole thing about Trump being so bad is part of that chaos and confusion, sowing that chaos and confusion so you can get people like ultra pissed on the left, on the right, on the left, on the right. Creative Experiment says, I was in the middle of Iowa last week and a sandwich was $10. Must be in my imagination that even Iowa is expensive now. Yeah, I mean, I was just... Is the first time you didn't vote since Carter, Fred? Okay. I would have voted for Trump if I believed in climate change. I don't understand. No, I wouldn't have voted for Trump. Or I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump because you have two corporate candidates that are funded by AIPAC, and they both are two heads of the same coin. So that's why I voted for Jill Stein. Not actually, I voted for Jill Stein not because of climate change necessarily, but part of it. I voted for Jill Stein because A, third parties need a voice, and B, she was anti-genocide. Those are the main issues that I voted along, with Jill Stein and against Trump and Harris. Again, don't take my criticism of the Democrats for Trump support. That's not what it is. As I said just a few minutes ago, the Democrats could have won and should have won if all they did was promise half the things Trump did. If all they did was go lift one little finger and say, "We hear you guys. We hear your pain," right? Instead of telling people that, like, you're imagining that inflation is bad. No, inflation is great. The economy is better than ever. No, it's not. It's not. They're lying to people, and people see that they're lying to them. If all they did was tell the truth, they could have won. If the Democrats got up there and said, "Man, inflation is, we screwed up, we messed up, raise their hand to God. Man, we really messed this one up. You're right, guys. It's out of control, and we're really going to do our best to try and get it under control. We messed up. Like, yes, this has been happening under our watch, and here are the factors that are involved and why this is happening." If they could have just admitted the truth and dealt with things in an honest way with the people of America, they could have won the election. I'm telling Democrats how they can win. Oh, and also stop funding a genocide. There's that little part. If they could have stopped funding a genocide, but they didn't. They kept gaslighting people and telling people, like, yeah, we really want a ceasefire, but here's a couple $1 billion more worth of weapons. People see that. They see that. They can see that with their own eyes. That's called gaslighting. My God. It's not about Trump so bad. It is not about Trump so bad. It has nothing to do with Trump so bad. It has to do with Dems so bad. That's why you lose. When you don't prepare for the game and you just say the other team really sucks, so we don't have to practice, guess what happens? You don't cry after you lose the game. You don't cry after you lose the game if you don't practice because you think the other team sucks. Okay, that's what you get. This guy is the biggest dummy ever to ever dummy. It's like, this dude is like, if America even has midterm elections in 2026, Democrats need to stop campaigning for smart people. Oh, are we the smart people? Are Democrats smart? Are Democrats the smart people? Democrats need to stop campaigning for smart people. You've won them already. Oh my God. Oh my God. The assumption that you actually are smarter because you didn't practice because the other team was so bad. Because you're the smart people, right? That's literally what they're telling you. We gaslit you, didn't prepare, didn't hold the coach accountable, didn't hold the team accountable, but we're the smart people. Okay, keep going with that. Keep going. He said, speak to stupid people in the dumbest possible terms. Dummies decide elections, and a huge chunk of the country is dumb. Wow, people were like, yo, somebody said, I love this new Democrat strategy. Call people who don't vote for you stupid dummies. Keep it up and you're sure to win in 2026. Yeah. So basically, listen, the Democrats gave you Trump the first time around. They did the exact same playbook and gave you Trump the first time around. And maybe that was all in the cards. Maybe that was all spelled out. Maybe that was all supposed to happen. Maybe that was part of the play. But you guys, you went along with it. And you're the smart people. All right. And you basically enabled the next, 8 years to unfold the way that they unfolded. And here we are. And again, you're trying to tell people that that everybody else is dummies, but you're the smart ones. All right. And yeah, maybe this is all, my God. And then there's this huge Starlink conspiracy that's going on, and this is so funny because even Newsweek called this a conspiracy theory of the left, which is kind of hilarious because most conspiracy theories have to do with people being on the right or whatever. Left-wing Starlink election conspiracy theory spreads online. Okay, and you've seen this; it's like all over the place. That somehow Starlink sucked up all these votes and tallied all these votes, and right. An election conspiracy theory is spreading on social media alleging that billionaire Elon Musk hacked the 2024 election in favor of President-elect Donald Trump using a Starlink satellite internet company. Now, hold on one second, though. It's funny. It's funny because they're calling this a conspiracy theory of the left. But, I'm open to all theories. I am open to all. I don't care where they come from. If you think I'm like in the bag for Trump or something like that, I'm open to this. If it's an interesting theory, if they can prove it out, it would be interesting to see what happens. I don't think, it's kind of funny though. The funny part about it is that it was the most free and fair elections ever last time, right? When the Trumpers questioned the election and January 6th and all that kind of stuff, stop the steal. And this, they were told to shut up and you guys are stupid and no way, you don't ever question the election. And then like 4 years later, they're literally doing the exact same thing, like the exact same thing. And nobody sees the irony in that. It doesn't really carry a lot of weight though, because you already, after they did the same thing in 2016, right? When Trump was first elected, it was, Russia helped him and Russiagate and blah blah blah. And right now we had 4 years of that, all just straight up. And then when Trump loses, most free and fair elections ever, don't you ever question it, you are crazy. And then Trump wins and all of a sudden, bam, it's theory after theory. This is why he won. It's just funny. It's just funny. The jokes write themselves. Anyways, they allege that Starlink, a satellite constellation developed by Musk's SpaceX, designed to provide high-speed broadband internet across the globe, was connected to the voting machine supply chain. Interesting theory. I mean, what if they can actually do that? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's probable? Does anybody believe this? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of was like, yeah, you guys are everybody here is a free thinker. Everybody here has brains that they use, and I appreciate that. And I welcome and encourage, serious debate. I do. Some might disagree with that, but I do. Let's see. And I really welcome like facts and stuff. Facts and evidence. Like if there's evidence and facts, behind the Starlink thing, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Like if this plays out to something that's a real thing, and it would be super interesting. Like what? Starlink? I mean, look, I'm not unaware of the fact that Elon Musk is a super deep statey. Like everything about Trump is deep state. Musk is deep state. Peter Thiel is deep state. He's surrounded and funded and right. And if he was selected, he was intended to be the president by the deep state. And there wasn't anything you were going to do to change that, right? If they wanted him to win, they would just make sure he won. And a few people have brought up the fact that this is the first time in several elections that it wasn't contested, like right after that right away that people were contesting it, like on an official level. you know, that they were just pretty much like, well, Trump won and that's it. And they were like, oh, whoa, that's weird. It's too quiet. It's too weird that he just won outright. I mean, maybe. Honestly, personally, I honestly feel like I feel like just Trump won because people were angry. Everybody I talked to, like who was just a regular Joe type man on the street, is like telling me how much they're hanging on for dear life as far as like buying food and paying bills. Everyone is just hanging on, and everybody is very, very angry and very, you know, concerned about the future. Like that's the data I was taking in over the last year or two, was that people are really scraping, having a hard time, you know, making it month to month, having a hard time going to the grocery store and spending $200 for like one bag of groceries. People are having a difficult time. So when you gaslight people and you tell them, no, everything is great, and then you're sending all this billions of dollars to Ukraine and to Israel, and people can't eat, I'm telling you, that's all you need for people to be angry enough to go like, I'm going for the other guy. That's it. It's pretty simple math. Like you don't really need to complicate it that much. People are pissed. They voted like they were pissed. That's it. That's all you need to know. It's not like you don't have to. There's not a lot of theorizing around that. You know, and you can think piece it all day long. You can, you know, you can, you know, if the deep state wants Donald Trump to win, okay, I'm all ears to that theory too. I'm sure there's an element of that in there, but you don't need the deep state for him to win. You just need people to be pissed enough to vote for the other guy, pissed enough to vote out the ruling administration who was screwing your life over, and you're so angry, and you just are like, anything but this, hope and change, or some change, maybe no hope but change, just give me some change. I need a little change. I ain't got no change in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing bad poetry, but listen, you don't need more than that. That's all you need. All right, that's about all I had to cover today. I was trying to keep my links short. And who knows what he's going to do and what is going to happen. I mean, right now he's surrounding himself with more deep state, you know, goons. So far, his two, you know, cabinet picks or whatever, his two picks have been pretty deep state. He did actually say that he was not going to have Pompeo or Nikki Haley aboard, which is good. So, you know, some people were like, all right, he's just kowtowing to the masses that don't want Pompeo around, and he's going to pick some other deep state people, which is probably the truth. I don't see his presidency this time being any different than last time, which last time was drain the swamp, hire the swamp, and then do a bunch of swamp things, which is what he's going to do. He's going to hire the swamp, do a bunch of swamp things. How can it be any different? And that, you know, it's unfortunate. That's what we're going to get. It's unfortunate that, you know, somebody couldn't just halfway try to offer something slightly better. But no, that's not what they're interested in. The truth says our military suppliers run the government because they love war. NATO is worth billions. Trump will stop all the war. Do you think he's going to stop the wars? I mean, look, if he does, I'll be the first one to. I'd be like, hell yeah. Please do it. That was his promise. That was his campaign promise, was to stop at least Ukraine and bring the Israel thing to an end. That he is, you know, That was his promise. If he does, do something in that regard, that would be great. I don't see how he tried to end Syria and Afghanistan, and they wouldn't let him. Apparently, that was the first time he was in office. He was like, he actually engineered the Afghanistan pullout, but it just happened under Biden. But he was the one that was like pushing for that, and had that agreement in place before he left office. So that was him. It happened under Biden, and they botched it like super bad. Is he already ending the wars? I don't know. I haven't seen that. If I'm missing information, please let me know. I haven't really seen anything definitive on that yet. We'll see. He hasn't, we haven't seen him, have a phone call with Putin yet or anything like that. Exactly, Joseph Wood. If you have an ignorant narcissist population, you will have ignorant narcissist leaders. Yeah, George Carlin. Yep. Denver says Burger King Whoppers were 2 for $5 on sale before Biden administration COVID under Trump. 10 nuggets for 99 cents. Now Whoppers are $8 a piece. Yes, I know. Yeah, even the 99-cent menus are gone. It's very expensive to eat fast food. Yeah, and as I said, like the issue of climate change doesn't carry any more weight, and it's unfortunate. We're just so far away from having a real honest conversation about like saving the planet, and it seems like we're going in the wrong direction. So I don't know what's going to cause it to go back in the right direction. I don't know. Psychosis is a severe mental condition in which thought and emotions are so affected that contact is lost with external reality. That's a great definition. Psychosis. And that's exactly what it is. An inability to interact with reality, like on an actual. By the way, guys, if you like the show, if you support the show, if you want the show to keep on going, and dang it, I really need your support in order to keep the show going. There are links in the description box with which you can use to support this show. And many of you support the show already. You know who you are. I really thank you. I do thank you. You can, there's PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, Buy Me a Coffee. There's all kinds of things. Patreon. Yeah. Zalipa says Kshama Sawant is talking about a movement with a new party. Yes. A workers' rights party. Yes. That would be great. And I'm sure it would be super popular. And I'm sure, did anybody hear the latest Carrie Wedler video? Did I play it? I think I did. I don't know if I played the latest Carrie Wedler video where she said, if anybody actually was going to change things for the better, if anybody was an honest, person running for president, they would already be dead. So I'm not trying to put that out there. I hope Kshama Sawant does something like that, but I also hope that she stays very safe, because we need Kshama Sawant. We need her here, doing the work that she's doing. But, hold on. Let's see if I can find this. Again, like I'm sorry if I'm I really am. I'm really not trying to like offend the Democrats or the Harris voters. I'm not. That's not my goal. I'm not seeking to offend or piss off anybody, but I'm just, y'all are pissing me off. It's hard to react. It's really hard not to react, is what I'm trying to say. it's just hard not to just, I'm just very angry at things that are being said and pushed out there that seem extremely ignorant. And I got to say something about it. And, I want people to come to grips with reality and stop operating in psychosis. That's what I want. I truly want that. Is this it? Where is it? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to find it. Let's see. Is it on her page? I think this is it. Is this it? Well, and it's an interesting phenomenon. I'm going to just point out. So many people here understand climate breakdown, but also understand the state of politics, in the U.S. and globally, about the fact that it's not, people are not still tied into the traditional liberal left narrative, right? They see that, and I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing people like Jem Bendell and like Adam McKay, like take Democrats to task or take the left to task and say, like, listen, you guys you're really screwing it up here. They're still very much connected to climate breakdown and environmental catastrophes, but they're not still tied into the WEF sponsored, traditional liberal like talking points, which I find super refreshing. And I like what those guys are saying. George Monbiot can go to hell. Like I'm tired of his drivel, his like super liberal dumb drivel, and like I can't stand that dude. And there's a lot of people like that still that are like on the left and so. Anyways, let's listen to Carrie Wedler and then I'll get out of here.
This is a friendly reminder for Republicans and Democrats. You hate each other so much because you both fear the other side will use the power of government to force you to submit to and fund policies and practices you don't agree with, never consented to, and find morally atrocious. Whether that's gun control and taxpayer-funded abortions, or throwing kids in cages, or incarcerating people for selling plants because it's the law. None of the corruption, mass surveillance, police brutality, endless wars, economic devastation, intergenerational debt, or cruel and unusual punishments across the board would be possible without the violent mechanism and institution of government. You currently spend your time and energy vilifying your fellow humans and vying for power over the violent machine, for control over these perceived enemies so they can't get control of it and use it over you. And your propaganda box perpetually confirms this reality, reminding you your opponents are less than human, that they're threats to quash. Yet without the aggression and authority of government, hardly any of the things you fear and hate your political counterparts for would be possible. You fear your ideological opponents almost entirely because of the state authority they would use against you. If you want to escape the endless loop of chasing power only to have the pendulum of control swing back toward your enemies, who will have ruling class parasites control you just as much as you do the same to them, refocus your opposition and defiance away from your fellow victims of government violence and authority. Instead, place it on the machine responsible for the oppression you fear and seek power over others to escape. Your democracy isn't civilized, and your republic is incompatible with freedom, because whatever story your public school education and your screens may tell you about the state, under all the flowery rhetoric, its only language is violence. Don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. No exceptions for anyone, including the biggest perpetrator of theft and violence throughout history. That would be government. Thank you.
That's pretty good. That was not the video I was looking for, but that's okay. Good enough. Maybe I'll find the other one. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are the best. You're the best. Trying to say bye to the Rockfin people. Rockfin. Kameshwari says, push hard and offend. effing offend. I will fucking keep offending. Thank you, Kamashwari Kate. Thank you. All right. Peace, y'all.